Welcome one and all to the Darcblade Safari, where we take a look at the creatures that roam the lands of Monster Hunter World. In today's episode, we're venturing once again into the Coral Highlands to check out the floating sky wyvern, Paolumu, who is also known as the puffball or the balloon hamster. Paolumu is a flying wyvern that can be found roaming most areas of the Coral Highlands. The only regions it rarely visits are the lower, darker areas, probably due to its reliance on wind currents, to which there are a lack of them down there potentially. While on the west side, Paolumu is happy to simply plod around, looking fairly passive and cute, but it will venture into the other areas when the time is right. In the central area of the Coral Highlands, it will often visit the nests of the Raffinos to suck up their eggs from the trees and surrounding coral. After having its vacuum-packed meal, Paolumu will take to the skies and venture to the northeast areas for a nap in the high vines, or to the east area to simply walk off its meal in the scenic high regions of the Coral Highlands. This though carries a risk to Paolumu, as the puffball is outclassed by some of the tougher, scarier monsters of the Coral Highlands. After a full day of wandering around and seeing what's what, Paolumu will journey back to its home in the far northwest of the Coral Highlands. Here Paolumu will bed down to sleep the rest of the day away. Paolumu is an oddity in the new world. It has bat-like features including a cute face, wings, 2 hind legs and a tough, hard club-like tail. This is all attached to an overly fluffy, white-furred body. Paolumu does have very important hidden features though. There is a sac located in its neck, which Paolumu can inflate. When the puffball takes in a deep breath, it will cause the sac to expand greatly and cause the monster to float. This gives Paolumu the image of a floating balloon hamster, but it is also functional. It allows the balloon hamster to freely move in the air, giving it an edge when hunting or when in combat. When floating around like a hamster who's decided to stuff its cheeks with biscuits made of helium, Paolumu has an advantage against smaller foes, but it does nothing when faced with tougher monsters like a Doggeron, who will simply treat the puffball like a fluffy chew toy. When it comes to a fight, Paolumu is not always a pushover. While it's nothing compared to apex monsters out there, it can still be annoyance to hunters who are new to the Coral Highlands. Paolumu can be seen as having 2 modes, normal mode and helium mode. Whilst grounded, Paolumu has a series of standard attacks, including a bite, a double tail swipe, a series of claw swipes while using its wings to get off the ground slightly, and an incredibly annoying charge attack. And should a hunter be hit by this move more than once, it can potentially stun them. However, when it comes to making like a balloon, Paolumu becomes a little bit tougher. It can make use of its wings and large lung capacity to cause powerful wind attacks against its foes whilst it's airborne. This can leave hunters staggered. It also has a very hard hitting attack where Paolumu will quickly float to the location above its target and then slam down into the ground, Mario style, with its hardened tail crushing anyone it lands on. Paolumu can also draw hunters in closer to it by inhaling even more air. This can also stagger hunters, leaving them at the mercy of the fluffy balloon. Lastly, Paolumu does have a big set of lungs, probably due to its helium habit. This allows Paolumu to deafen hunters who lack earplugs. When it comes to weaknesses, hunters should aim for the head and inflated neck sac. The head has a 2-star weakness rating to all weapon types, whilst the neck pouch has a 3-star rating to all weapon types. As for elements, hunters should try to make use of fire-based weapons, as Paolumu severely hates fire, resulting in a 3-star weakness rating, more than likely a result of Paolumu hating the smell of burnt fur. This is then followed by thunder with a 2-star rating, ice and dragon have a 1-star rating, and finally water is rated X against the balloon hamster. When it comes to ailments, Paolumu is a little bit of a sick kid, often needing a note from nurse to get out of gym class. This is because it has a 3-star rating to blast and stun ailments, which is then followed by poison, sleep and paralysis, which is all rated 2-star. This makes Paolumu one of the most susceptible monsters in the game to ailments. When it comes to the epic loot from Paolumu, the only difficult thing to get is the Wyvern Gem, but this can be obtained from the Elder Melder or even other monsters. The rest of the loot is fairly common, but this is because there are so many breakable parts on the puffball. Its neck pouch, back, tail and wings can all be broken, which allow hunters to gain specific loot they need. Paolumu can be a serious annoyance while it's floating around, but hunters can shoot down the inflated puffball via flash pods. Failing that, if a hunter can wound its neck via ranged weapons, or using their slinger, it can also result in puncturing the neck sac. If enough damage is done, the neck will not be able to inflate, or at least until it's seen a mechanic to fix the puncture. It also has an interesting attack while fighting in its nest, located in the northwest of the Coral Highlands. It will fly up through the gaps in the coral cave and then ambush hunters with a devastating tail attack via the holes in the walls. But hunters also get a huge advantage whilst fighting in the nest, as it is covered with walls that hunters can vault up and make use of their airborne attacks. Hunters can also deflate Paolumu should they be able to successfully use it as a mechanical ball and mount it. For hunters looking for gold crowns out there, the large gold crown can be found at the 1417 mark, and the small gold crown can be found at the 1006 mark. Paolumu is the last easy monster that hunters will face in the Coral Highlands, as every other monster in the area bar Zitsuyaku outclasses the floating sky wyvern. Despite that though, there are one or two attacks in Paolumu's arsenal that can cause issues for hunters. The charge stunlock and floaty crush attack, these two are the most dangerous, and even more so should you be taking on a tempered Paolumu. That being said though, Paolumu's moves are easy to read, and as long as you have the tools to knock it out of the sky when it gets on the helium, it should be a pushover. Anyway, I hope you found this video informative or entertaining, and until next time, I've been your guide Darcblade, bringing you a safari guide to Paolumu in Monster Hunter World. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.